Let's talk about the four horsemen one more time. Here we're discussing stonewalling. What is stonewalling? Well, before we define it, let's talk about when it arrives in a relationship. Usually, stonewalling occurs once the other three horsemen have been in full effect for a period of time. So that's not to say that some folks won't use it without that precedent, but stonewalling is a strategy of escape. If you're constantly under criticism, if you're constantly under contempt, stonewalling is a strategy that a lot of people pick up. It's defined as psychologically or physically removing yourself from an interaction. And it becomes problematic when that removal lasts for hours or days at a time. So generally, because this behavior exists, important discussions are forgotten and neglected by the stonewaller, while the other partner is left with this festering emotional wound that becomes infected with resentment. Every time they try to bring up an issue, their partner stonewalls, meaning they don't get the engagement that they need. So, stonewalling is very damaging to communication. Why? Because it passively denies that conversation from ever happening. Stonewalling is made up of two components that we can identify. Number one, escape, and number two, abandonment. Let's talk about what's happening for people when they stonewall. On the exterior, their behavior might appear cold or removed, but internally, they're often daydreaming or dissociating to some far-off place while their partners are lecturing them or even pleading for engagement, right? They're somewhere else in their mind. They've left the room. In their mind, they might be gardening, gaming, or just going somewhere nice. In their heads, that's what they're doing. Somewhere far away, they've removed themselves from the stressful conversation that actually sits in front of them physically. I, as a therapist, try to help people understand that this horseman is programmed in the fight or flight circuitry of the brain. Stonewalling as a behavior is symptomatic of an ache to escape or take flight away from the fight that they can no longer endure. People are exhausted, hurt, and burnt out from some of the interactions of conflict. And so stonewalling is a behavior that is symptomatic of that desperation. It signals to me, as a therapist, that there is an extreme desire for reprieve or recess for the stonewaller. Okay, that's why people stonewall. They need an escape. Understanding why stonewalling occurs does not institute an endorsement of that behavior, and we'll talk about the antidote to stonewalling in a following video. For now, I want you to consider what stonewalling is and why it happens for you. Let's take a moment to consider an instance in the past week or month where you might have relied on stonewalling as a strategy for escape. Take a moment. When or if you can think of one, keep it in mind, and I'll show you in the coming video on the antidote to stonewalling, how to turn it into something useful.